I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to ask you about your background and interest in the emotional experiences of learning.
All right. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to contribute to this book. First of all, my name is Islam from Palestine. I hold a PhD in English language education. I am a researcher and I work as an English teacher. So basically, once I saw this call for chapter, my background is rooted with my experience with adult learning since I focus on lifelong learning. All right. The problem in our education that usually we assess the cognitive part of the students and we neglect the emotional part as teacher as well as researchers. I didn't see like there is much research in emotional part. So this is like encouraged me to move on in this chapter. I focused in the emotional part because I see my students juggle with like they carry many responsibilities and goals. They have challenges to overcome them. Uh, in this respect, I believe that emotional experience influence how adults learn, especially in terms of motivation, engagement. Most importantly, I focus on like how adults can apply this knowledge in their practical life, whether after graduation or at the work place. Professor, emotions, whether they are positive or negative, they affect learning, right? As well as in the workforce. Let me just mention that is English proverb that goes by choose a job that you love, you have never to work for your life, right? So when you are doing something that you like, you don't feel that track of time. You work from your heart, and you feel that you can be creative in your job. It's not just I have to leave early today. It's not my job. I can do it. No, it will be the opposite. I was always fascinated how emotions can create a transformative learning for students because it can carry with them even after the exam, after graduation, and apply it on in when they go to practical life, get a job. The point of my chapter, like I integrated cognition and emotion because can lead to two things. First of all, intellectual growth, additionally, personal development. So both of them can lead to a creative learner. I focus in my chapter also in the instructional design because they can incorporate emotional development in learning, all right, empathy, creativity, uh, as well as they can improve their behavior. The point, it all starts with instructional designers as well as educators. So all these things together, they have guided my research in how can we create an emotional rich learning that we can engage learner as from a holistic point of view, mind, body, as well as spirit.
Wonderful. No, yours was one of the chapters that gave a great conceptual overview of the field, which I really appreciated, which was wonderful.
Mhm. Thank you.
Without revealing too much, and you've already touched a bit on what your chapter covers, but can you just talk a little bit about the high level themes that you do cover?
Yeah, obviously. In the first place, in my chapter, I shed the light on the role of emotions in the learning process for students. My primary theme in my chapter is the connection between cognition and emotion and how they work together, all right, to create a transformative learning experience rather than only acquiring knowledge. We don't only have to look on students acquire the knowledge and full stop. No, we are looking for lifelong learning. So first of all, we have to integrate cognition and emotion together. My second theme, I emphasize the need for instructional design to move beyond merely cognitive part, but as well as emotional one. We should focus on the students' attention, memory, motivation, as well as interpretation of this knowledge. Another theme is the embodied learning. In embodied learning, I believe that if we integrate emotion, cognition, as well as sensory motor system in students, because if we can reach that level, All right, if we can reach that level, we can explore, we can look at the learner from the mind, the body, spirit. All right. Additionally, the responsibilities of educators and instructional designers in fostering emotional engagement. Even though, for example, if the curriculum doesn't meet students' needs, as an educator, I should encourage students to have an emotional, to integrate their emotions in learning. Furthermore, in instructional emotional design, whether emotion, as I stated earlier, whether emotions are positive or negative, uh, they can affect students' attention, motivation, engagement, enjoyment. All right. So the role of the teacher here is to know the background of their students, then work on that to bring emotion to what they really need. Because instructional designers, they don't have a closer look to what the students need. So here comes the role of the educators. If the educator successfully integrated emotion, I believe that we would have a creative learners.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Um, what would you say would be some of the practical applications? Because yours is one of the chapters that gives a great overview of the theory. So what are some of the practical applications that a reader could take away from your chapter to put into practice?
Thank you. So in my chapter, I have addressed recommendations either for researchers, readers, educators, as well as instructional designers. First of all, I call like for readers, so I call for implementing the strategies to create emotional learn experience. There are many strategies. I will mention some of them. First of all, they can create intentional design of learning that encourages positive emotions such as curiosity, engagement, and interest. Additionally, instructional design can incorporate interactive elements such as hands-on material activities, questions, feedback, group work, that flexibility in their learning to reduce the negative emotions and create a positive one. I'll give an example. For example, I remember in high school when I was teaching there, like there is a controversial question like imprisonment for life or capital punishment. In this topic, I just divide the students, for example, into groups. Each group will carry one idea, and they can discuss together. Here, students can interact with each other. They can exchange their ideas together, and then they come and talk to each other. Here, I engage the students emotionally with this rather than just giving them instructions. Another example, for example, engineering students, if their instructors ask them to build a bridge to see how much pressure it can take. Physics students, if they go to the laboratory and do experiments. English students at universities, if they go to schools and do teaching. So once students are applying what they are learning, then they can have their emotions on that. Thus, they can have a lifelong learning. Additionally, in my chapter, I call for approach to engage learners as a holistic emotion, cognition, and sensor motor elements, as I told you earlier about like the body, spirit, mind. Uh, Furthermore, uh, in my chapter, I suggest to create an emotional learning experience in adult education field. For example, nursing. In this field, they are dealing with a human rather than just doing their job. And no, they can take care of their patients in a better way. They can feel what their patients are going through. And not only in nursing, in education and leadership, because if they have prevented their emotions on that, I do believe that the outcomes of their job in the workplace will be advanced. Additionally, I suggest to design learning activities that meet learners' needs, social concerns, all right? That also meets their passions. Students here would be engaged in the learning material. Therefore, they would acknowledge that rather than just read it, skip it, do the exam, that's it. No, it can carry out with them even after a graduation. Finally, this is my message for educators. It's we always focus on assessing the cognitive part of learners. We always neglect the emotional part. So my message to educators: that you should assess both cognitive as well as emotional growth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Islam. Have a great rest of your day.